Thank you very much, Moses. Yes, Fnatic and Virtus.pro, a tale of two teams with two very different stories. One a perennial fixture in Counter-Strike, the other reforming in search of former glory. Lauren, I love the conversation around Fnatic changing their play style and maybe, easing into more of a tactical approach to the game. It'd be interesting on this map, especially to see if that manifests.
Yeah, we're yet to see it. Yeah, I guess the proof is in the pudding, right, and all that jazz. It's a nice thing in theory. It's certainly the go-to point these days is they've got to know that it's something they have to work on and build towards, but I think every team facing them still knows it's Fnatic. They have that very pick-heavy style. A lot of teams facing off against them will play to deny that. Train is going to be hard to make that happen. It's very individual on occasion. We've already highlighted on the desk what they did. They do like to take those fights a hell of a lot. And VP not so much. They'll prefer that map control, that slow kind of methodical, slowly just squeeze the life out of the opponent. So this is going to be a nice game, actually, for me to watch. It's a good kind of testing point to see where these two teams are currently. And to be fair, since Fnatic reformed, came back together, this has been one of the most gone-to maps. It's probably in their top 2, top 3, maybe at most. I think it's still top 2. And VP obviously always sit with this one in their back pocket as well. And we do like seeing Rush's camera positions. So
no one would know what they were if you didn't point them out.
I like to highlight it, but we are going to be live into this one. And VP already off to like a nice little bit of a start here, showing a lot of presence towards that outer side, but that's not what they're intending. This is all but a clever ruse.
So here's that flash of passing this over on this B side, even on the pistol round here. He's stepping back a long way, but he's been able to pick up a kill early on. Now Fnatic will be rotating through. They're going to have to play retake here, but there's limited utility, limited smoke, but limited health on a lot of Fnatic's players.
So 5v3 retake time. It's looking pretty good for Fnatic, I'm not going to lie here, especially when they go for the cleanup like that. Easily done for them, just taking those aim fights in the end. Good retake, keeping 5 alive as well. Well, down to 4 now. Crim staying alive on 2, but all works well. VP with a nice intention. Got the plant, at least that's something to keep in mind, but still, all in all, first one on the board for Fnatic.
More importantly, Flusher, the first player at the site, first contact, getting 2 kills and surviving that round, speaks a lot to his willingness and readiness to step back and allow the rest of his team to filter through. And Fnatic using the long range of the USPs to their advantage, they're going to waste no time in getting into a couple of UMPs. M4s are there. VP actually want to force into this one as well. 2 UMPs to come through. A bit of utility to boot.
All right, that's quite interesting. It wasn't even a close round first round, so they are really going back in on this one pretty hard. Bit of a 3-2 play at the moment. Could just be a pinch towards that outer bomb site right now, but there are 4 players from Fnatic. Flusher is an incredibly capable player, so I wouldn't put it past him being more than comfortable soloing that out. But JW's got a good bit of info. That nade is kind of probably surprising him at the moment. Okay, they've gone for a bit of a buy here, but will they expect Bialy bursting out with a UMP? Probably not, but now they know. Olofmeister next in line, he's going to keep eyes towards Ivy, but there's still possible pressure from Taz and Neo to come in the later part of this round, but we'll see how much work VP can get done. And this could be the old Na'Vi style wrap through CT spawn, and Flusher already reads it. That's the sick part. He already knows what's coming his way, or at least thought about it enough. They're positioned here, gets down the bomb. That's left in an almost unreachable place by the old bomb train, and the last 2 players are almost irrelevant now.
Excellent foresight for Flusher to know that he can abandon that B site despite 2 VP players encroaching via brown holes. The bomb was in the correct position. It was back over towards the tunnels, which Flusher identified as it fell. So a very comfortable position in this round for Fnatic here, making the right call, having to pick either one of the 2 arms of the pincer, and now Flusher will be receiving. Good flash from Taz, but Taz doesn't spot Flusher initially either. It's going to be the trade. Neo gets himself at least up towards the Tech 9 now, and M4. 3 players to deal with in 34 seconds in the round. He needs that bomb if he wants to make any inroads here.
Yeah, they're just going to put down the smoke. They're just going to smother him out at this point. Crims is actually on the long way around, but timing's going to be a factor. Did either of them spot? There we go, yeah. Crims had a glimpse as well, so did Neo, so I think that just gets wrapped up. But I like the idea from VP to go all the way through CT, playing off the back of Ivy once they get that control down, try and split in towards B. It's something that when this version of Train came back around, or at least came into the map pool properly, Na'Vi ran it a hell of a lot of times. It actually caught so many people out. So it was quite cool seeing VP doing something like that. But this round they have to kind of abscond away from everything. A light purchase, try not to dip below that 2K marker. It
was quite an aggressive second round buy, actually. A lot of teams might go for the Deagles or Tech 9 to just try and push in there. FaZe actually wins a lot of those rounds, in particular with a limited arsenal, but not VP in this case. Dennis aggressive towards Pop Dog. Sprays 1, second easily enough picked up. It's traded out for snacks, but the rest of VP are falling by the wayside. It wasn't a long round at all when Olofmeister and JW will be there to clean up the scraps.
Nice start for Fnatic. Clean enough. Not perfect, obviously, but good enough here. And Flusher going on to the AWP straight away, it seems. Does he have a better spawn than anyone? I guess he just likes it on B, maybe. We've seen the Fnatic do like to fall back to that double AWP if they ever feel pressure. We saw it on Inferno, especially when they actually have the money to do it. We weren't actually able to see it during the Pro League games, but before that, I think it was in Katowice, we got to see a bit of it.
Or,
yeah, it's quite an interesting one. And Flush is going to get info here if anyone's actually playing towards those halls. There's only one flash given, but JW is also looking for information. He's got support in the form of Dennis, but Pasha is there. And Pasha recently has had a huge swing up in performance, but he doesn't want to outstay his welcome. So he's going to back away, wait for support from Snacks. But Flusher, in the meantime, was claiming map control over by those B halls, so he can back away now, shows a little bit of leg, and that's enough for him.
A little bit frustrating for JW and Ivy there. He actually probably should have gotten the trade or been in position for it, but he just sprays Pasha down through the smoke anyway. Good things come to those who wait, and JW more than happy to bide his time. This leaves Snacks on his own in Ivy. Taz may well join him the long way in a moment, but it's only 3 players left for VP. Their coverage is dwindling, and Fnatic, sitting that solo player on the B site, leaves him with a lot of presence at A quite often, and this round is no different.
It's gutsy from Fnatic. We know VP love to fake this bomb out, or at least this map out. They absolutely adore it, but Olaf Meister's positioning is so good right now, just taking his time perfectly to walk around towards the back of Ivy. Now, Neo's found Crim, so that's a nice little bit of reply, but there's still JW up, but Taz finds him, and now it's game on.
That's
Taz
big.
comes alive. That's massive kills from him. And Flusher, they know he's going to be at B. They're going to assume he's got an AWP as well. They heard that presence earlier, so switching off of that one, going to plant safely for Neo. Neo's still over by E-Box, and Flush has to find a route back into this.
Insanely good turnaround in this round for Virtus.pro. One of those very difficult situations to navigate, but having Neo embedded over towards Popdog really helped them break open this side. Now Flusher has to go and do it himself. Smoke's there, Kit is also there. But he hasn't spotted any of the VP players yet. He'll see a glimpse of Neo now around the corner, but Neo has also seen him, backs away. At least he should. No, he hasn't seen him actually.
Good old aspect ratio game. Neo's going to just chase it down. That's nice from him. Just not going to give him the chance to start doing, just Flusher things. So Neo locks it out. But yeah, those two left alive, the classic duo, I guess, between Neo and Taz, just brought that round back from the brink of not being touched. So Fnatic buying up and, yeah, going straight onto the double AWP. So Flusher just have to suffer on that one. I'm curious to see how they actually put themselves around this, because Flusher normally is very happy to solo out B. So I'm going to make an assumption you're going to have to that maybe Olaf helps him out or someone helps him out. No, he's still just going to sit there with the CZ on his own, smoke up, maybe push it, maybe depend on one of these guys to get that opening pick to really even out the sort of score here, but early damage coming through towards Snacks. But it looks like VP want to get a little bit out towards out of first of all, but that's not gone too well. Try and play a header touch there, but Olaf Meister watching it well with the AWP.
Yeah, it looks like it may even have been a shot through the smoke down towards the bottom of Popdog. It remains to be seen actually where that player was picked from. JW, well, a couple grenades in his direction, the smoke, and a little bit of a tickle from the HE is just going to force him back for the moment. Now VP needed in. Olaf Meister is watching Popdog, and Dennis is close to E-Box here. So even if they try and rush out, Dennis will catch him if they try and push forward. Re-smoked now as well. More time being bought here for the Swedes.
VP aren't forcing much around the map. They have to be very, very careful how they approach this. Now, Neo's going to maybe show a little on B, maybe try and make a bit of a play happen himself, or maybe just check to see if anyone's pushed up.
If only he knew Flusher was working with the CZ and he went upper or played for some sort of Maverick.
Yeah, Dennis, though, pushing up towards E-Box is going to be a problem. You can see how aggressive Fnatic are getting here.
Olaf Meister has backed up.
Yep. Yeah,
still got two.
This is a big issue. Look at it. Crim's carefree, happily going to be pushing up, making the guess there's no AWPs on the plate here for VP. So Taz going to walk out. Nice timing towards Dennis. Crim's back away and kind of left Dennis all on his lonesome. Now Taz has got a lot of freedom to work with. But here comes the rotate. Olaf, Flusher, both coming round. They actually did start to believe that maybe Neo's presence sold him a little something, but it doesn't matter when Crims is nailing people through the smoke and Flusher's still trying to make that CZ work. But doesn't need to. Olaf was there. We've already seen the presence of that double AWP just costing them any presence on this map.
Yeah, and again, Fnatic can do so much with A when Flusher stays alive for as long as he does on B. That was a bit of an early push for him towards brown holes with the CZ to see if he could get something, but he didn't. He didn't push too far for it. Decided to back away and just sort of embed himself in that B side, which is a lot of freedom for Fnatic to have those 4 players A. You can double watch, all of those T angles. Got 2 watching Popdog, 2 watching T-Con, easy as you like.
Now, Flusher's sticking on that CZ. He's gone for full utility and a CZ. Against VP, you're probably going to be on a shoddier buy. And more than likely, most teams will hit B because you at least normally get a plant out of it, maybe. We'll see if this actually works out. I love how gutsy Flusher is.
Flusher would rather just dissuade VP from hitting this site in general with utility. If they come, there'll be a quick rotate from Olaf Meister and Connector, who's there right now. There it is, through the smoke. Just Olaf things, and now Flusher is going to try and exceed that. It's a flash and a push through the smoke. The CZ finds 1, though, through the flash. Taz responds, though. That's 2. Crim's back behind the smoke, and Pasha needs to challenge this. He must go. Player passes him on the left, and he gets towards Crim's. Now will he know that Olaf Meister was waiting on the other side? It's unlikely. He falls. Now the 2v2. Bomb down. 1 player up inside brown holes. Bialy has a Molotov to stop the bomb defuse.
But
oh, Taz, okay.
I was about to say there are smokes left, but Taz is on 1 HP, but now the information is given. JW can smoke the bomb and get on it if he wants to. Bialy's going to be baited out at some point to try and face or find the frag or do something at this point, but JW's just going to get on the man. Taps it again. Waits for Bialy, baits him in, finds the cover, goes back for it. I really like the kind of bait on the bomb there. Just touch it once, force him to come out and do something, because he knows the molly's not going to work. So smartly done by JW, and another one on the board for Fnatic. The CT side so far is looking robust. For VP, they went on quite a purchase spree then, and sure, they got the bomb down, but when you go on an investment like that, you kind of want a little more, but it was close. They know they got Fnatic a little low there, but the money's still okay for Fnatic. UMP on Flusher, he's fine on this though. We see it in maps like Cobble and many others. He was one of the first people to just happily pick it up, even when he could fully buy. So he's all right on this. Now, JW's the sole AWPer, nothing there for Olaf, and, well, limited amounts of VP, but they've gone heavy on the smokes. Yeah,
bit of an, I guess, a variation here. Aggression towards Brownholes, Flusher flashes himself in. Pretty much the ultimate low economy player so far in this map. Hasn't really asked for much in terms of, well, hasn't asked for any drops from my understanding, but also making good use of that utility and buying time for the rest of his team to make rotations. This will have to be some form of, well, not completely set play. They're only going to be backing up with pistols, but still, for Virtus.pro, getting safely onto the site is the important way to start this round. Then they can put those short-range weapons to work.
Exactly. You can punish Fnatic's aggression, which they do like to go to. We've seen a couple of players pushing up quite aggressively towards E-Box, Crims on towards that first train. So it's a nice idea in theory, but look at it. It instantly, Fnatic played quite passive, quite smart. It's a good wall. It does allow for a plant, but Olaf Meister just sprays in. He's just hoping for connections here. Snacks pushes straight through, and he's going to get a great bit of info, but information is not enough when you only got a P250. So the cleanup crew comes in, but Bialy still stands. He takes one with him, but that's all you can ask of this man. As now it's Pasha in the 1v3. And what is that, JW? All right, just leaps in. He's seen the last two players, but surely this is not a win, something you can win here.
Gun's too far away from Pasha. And Flusher somehow, a little bit of a jitter there. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but Flusher does get out on top there. JW channeling his inner Foon for a moment. For VP, it's a worthwhile round. You invest in utility, you invest in P250s, and you get a bomb plant, you get 3 kills. For now, it's enough. It keeps him afloat at the very least, and the AWP does make its appearance. It'll be Pasha at the helm. And look at this Crims, Mag 7. I wonder where he's going.
See you at Pop. We'll see. Yeah, Pasha though on the AWP. That's a new factor that we get to have a little bit of a glimpse at. Loves to work down Ivy. Normally really good at those trades recently. Before it was a little bit of a 50-50. But this time, he's been having a good performance as of late. But he's got JW to come up against. And the big response from Fnatic, it's not just Crims being aggressive with the Mag 7. You've got Olaf Meister pushing up. You've got Dennis as well, playing in that fabled Olaf spot almost. He's actually in between the trains right now, but he could happily push up if he wants to. But Pasha going to slowly work his way through here, have a little look down towards Ivy. JW's openly challenging this on a bit of a deeper angle, so Pasha would have to take the wider swing, which is not necessarily advisable about, against a player like JW, but let's see if he's more patient, holds the angle. JW is just quicker on the trigger somehow. And 5v4, VP have lost down a massive point that could have helped them into this round.
And that's what Fnatic will do to you as well. They will challenge Ivy. It was mentioned earlier on the desk. JW's not afraid to go for that kind of peak, and VP were very cautious about trying to make a move for it. Now JW is at his legend. Smoking this means that he can then help out Dennis watching in towards T-Con. That means VP have 2 players, 3 players to deal with on the one angle to push in. They don't really have a Pop Dog presence because Crims is there with the Mag 7. This is the only way VP are going to get onto the A site in the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, and they still have to force Fnatic away from being aggressive. No one's punishing this. We saw one person trade out last time. Crims is still very, very much dedicated towards this. And Neo one step too far, but no, he's just going to land the shot first. But Olaf Meister turrets around, finding 2, denying any attack from Virtus.pro. And Bialy left, you're staring down a barrel of a gun here.
Yeah, that's how you aim.
Shut up, Mitch.
Molly now
You're staring down barrels of guns, I'd be worried. There's only one way that's going to go.
Bialy now in trouble. You're right, Lauren. 7 seconds left in the round, so wants to try and hold on to this AK. If you didn't remember, VP obviously went for that pistol execute last round, try and get some money. Bialy on towards Flusher.
Time. Go try and kill him after time. Olaf.
He heard him.
Oh, Bialy! That was pretty nutty. Doesn't really matter when you're 7-1 down, though. That's a bigger issue. It's good for them to hold on to that. They could maybe buy it. They're probably going to have to buy around it. They need to at this point. You simply need a lot more. So they can drop out a couple of weapons. Yeah, UMP Tech 9s. They'll suffer through.
And if you're Fnatic, right, you're actually feeling very good about even your B-side holds, even though VP hasn't been testing that, because you've tried a few variations now, pushes into brown holes and the like, but VP hasn't seen that because Fnatic haven't spotted VP in that early stage of the round. They can keep doing that until they're spotted. And this is what they're doing, same as last round.
Yeah, there's a nice variation though. Dennis and Flusher both being this close towards B. Dennis probably going to take...
Still a UMP for Flusher.
Yeah, exactly. He can take contact. Flusher can drop out the nade. If Dennis wants to just jiggle peek, wait for a shot, see something, there it is. Ooh, not great. But Dennis still gets played in, so it still works out pretty well for them considering.
And it's not even traded out. VP can't even secure a trade frag. Even though Pasha was there, he must have had the angle to follow up on Taz. And this is what happens to VP. This is why they've lost these last 5 rounds or whatever it has been running. Because their own options are being reduced. They can't trade into these bomb sites effectively, always playing at a disadvantage, and JW is going to make it even worse.
Yeah, this is just shooting fish in a barrel for JW, but this is against a fully bought up side to a degree. There was only one player onto that Tech 9, and JW just absolutely shattering them at this point. Yeah, this is a bit of a schooling here. So Fnatic look good. This is the thing. They're a team that can just do this sort of game style. It is so hard to come up and play against. VP are barely making impacts. I can't recall when they got the entry pick on this or even traded effectively, as you highlighted. It feels so scarce for them to actually make any impact here.
If you just get a trade, you're looking good, especially a T side. If you're bought up on the T side and you're even in numbers, you get a trade onto a site, you're golden. But they haven't been able to secure that in this round. It's been lackadaisical from them, or not correct positioning, or an inability to predict these early aggressions from Fnatic. Either way, it's not working out for VP. Olaf. Oh, that would have been a gimme there as well. Nade's going to drop in, though. That could be a bit nasty. Enough armor on VP to let them weather the storm, so to speak, but Olafmeister's still up on the train, and now things are getting up close and personal. The pistols for VP only claiming 1 scalp so far, and Bialy cowering behind the smoke. Flusher going to put him to a quick end. And Fnatic put their 9th on the board, and VP don't have the money to push them.
Yeah, a reminder though, overall, this has been a good map recently for Fnatic. They've only lost it out to FaZe, but then you look at the other teams they've played was Fnatic Academy, Optic, G2, you know, take what you will from it. A couple of those games were at Katowice, so it's not exactly like they have the hugest track record on it, but it's good. It's a good building block. It seems like they've come back into this map looking decent. They've applied what's worked for them in other maps. I'm curious to see how far this goes, though. This still seems very reminiscent of previous iterations of this Fnatic lineup. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. These guys were world beaters, but people found an answer eventually. And VP don't have a bad record either. They've only lost out to Na'Vi twice and Astralis once. So you can't turn your nose up at it. This is a good result for Fnatic. And this looks like, again, VP at least have a decent buy this time. So maybe they can work something out from this. But again, they just need to either trade in effectively, get control somewhere. They need to find something. They're getting no victories across this map so far.
Okay, this is a bit more of an improvised execute, or at least a fake on towards that A side. Flash has come in, 2 up on upper. Flusher spots him. How does he find Taz from there? Very quickly, the first ball had almost found him, but it's traded out. This is what at least VP need. Olaf misses that shot, takes a lot of damage from the molly, but needs to advance.
Yeah, that's just a really well played out fake then from VP, but they're losing players left, right, and center. They only have Snax and Pasha here, and the problem is that Pasha's actually behind Olafmeister at the moment, but Neo is doing it all. He's denied any rotates, but the nade will find him. It's down to a 2v2, which is great for them, but can Pasha still be relevant to this round? I'm wondering if Olafmeister knows he's here. Surely, yeah, JW's baiting it out. Olafmeister just to the left. Pasha with a massive swing up there. And look at it, Pasha and Neo pretty much defined the end of that round, but so well constructed from the beginning from Virtus.pro, but it felt like a lifetime in the making. Fnatic's money's still good, so they're going to buy back in just fine on this.
And this is what we were asking for. Aggression from VP on towards that B side. They faked on A for that one. That's fine. It could have gone south very quickly. Flusher, I mean, that's the kind of shot you expect pros to make at a distance, right? I was a little bit surprised because he was already on the back foot and sort of rotating off the site. It was traded out. Unfortunately, Flusher lost his life for that, which is what you want to avoid is that CT. But VP now starting to realize what Chad spoke about earlier on. A slight weakness to fast plays on the B side because of the single player in Flusher, sometimes playing in quite close.
Yeah, this could be a good test for Flusher, though. He's actually sitting a little bit more passively. He's only got... Well, he's still got a molly and a flash left, and I'm wondering if they actually go on this. You've got Pasha there, Snax there, and they're showing presence. So he has to be aware of this at all times. It's kind of encouraging Fnatic across the map elsewhere to be a little bit more aggressive. You've got Crims very up close and personal towards drop. Dennis up by E-Box. JW starting to look for information. They're trying to work out what VP are up to. They don't want to fall for another fake again, because this 3-man hit towards B is about to come in. Flush is completely blind, has to back away, give up the site. And there you go. Rotate's starting to come through. JW's seen it all now. He knows what's happening. So Fnatic just need to get ready for the retake on B.
Flusher puts himself in a position where he's not actually able to take any clean shots. That was Snax peeking above the smoke. He's not able to complete. Taz already got himself into connector here, so this is VP trying to cut Fnatic off at the choke points, and it's been Crims to fall. He tries to get into connector. No dice.
Nice aggressive positioning so far, but Taz not expecting someone that close is a huge problem, and now it's down to just Pasha, and he's still on the bomb site. Orb to hand, though. He is ready to bring the action. He's got JW to find and Flusher, and it's not going to be easy.
The knife's out. He's hoping for something big here, down to 52. Finally clears the smoke shot through. No scope doesn't connect. He's getting knifed through. He could feel it, and JW finally puts it straight between the shoulder blades and sends Pasha to the grave. And Virtus.pro might just be onto something here. This aggression on B so far paying dividends. However, 2 rounds to their name after 12. It's a little bit late in the day for them to have this kind of epiphany about how to hit the site.
Yeah, and you can see the duo.
You can see the plants are there, right? You can see there's 5 plants out of 10 rounds that Fnatic have won.
Yeah.
It's the after plant that they are struggling with.
It's hard to hold against the Fnatic boys. They know what their strengths are,
It's
and
a
they
good
certainly
retake
play to
play.
it. Yeah, definitely. This time, Dennis again, looking for info on B. And this is the one thing I like about Fnatic. No matter where they are, they like to find info. You saw JW then pushing down Ivy. Even when they weren't certain that it was going to be a B hit, he was straight there. And there's the double AWP coming into play. This is the problem that we're seeing time and time again. The 2 top fraggers for Fnatic are those double AWPs, and they are ringing out true this round as Olaf not going to get it that time, but Crims will, and they can recover the AWP if they need to. There it is. So never too far from hand, and the problem is the scoreline is so drastically in Fnatic's favor. VP haven't had a chance to really build into this on their T side yet, and I think we've run out of rounds for them to do so. Yeah,
and look, when you're playing from an economic advantage like Fnatic are, it can inflate the stats a little bit of the AWP players. You know, we look at obviously JW and Olaf for big performances here, but VP are struggling to challenge them. Pasha gets the AWP a couple rounds, can't do much with it. They're playing on the inner bomb site, which makes it even harder for him to have a big impact as a T-sided AWPer. But VP now, look at that one smoke, and we'll see how it's going to be employed here. That's all they have got, as well as a little bit of a smattering of pistols. It's going to have to be quick play towards B. Flusher, whether he's heard or seen something, is going to back away now, and Olaf will be watching with that AWP from Connector.
Here we go. Ooh, Neo just gets legged then. Flusher's got the shooting gallery, and it's beautiful. There's very few things that look that nice in the game, but Flusher just perfect control then. Doesn't let them even take a step towards that upper balcony. So this is a bit of a beatdown, Mitch.
Gotta love it. Sometimes Flusher provides us with some of the most exquisite CS, elegant CS, and sometimes it is absolutely filthy.
And I really like the way he's just dropped a mountain of CZs. It's like, this is what I am. You must accept this. Yeah, a bad
Taz has given up already.
Yeah, Taz is just thinking about the next map. He's all right.
We'll see what the go is with him. But VP are in motion regardless. Last round of the half here. 2 rounds to their name, but you can read that yourself. JW hasn't lost many of these duels in Ivy at all. VP have been completely nullified in that part of the map. Except that 1 round very early in the half where they managed to push 2 players through. Seems like but a distant memory now when the score is looking this damning for the Poles.
They finally have some control. Fnatic are being forced to play from further back lines, but that doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be a win for VP just yet. Fnatic like to come out swinging when their backs are literally to the walls as well. And here we go. Crims has found an avenue through. He's going to be trying to weave his way amongst those VP players. Pasha's still yet to come into the action. Snax finds a phenomenal angle. Somehow gets himself up here being unspotted by the opponents. But JW and Flusher, the last 2 standing, we've got a nice bit of a crossfire going on here. Flusher knows where the bomb is, and that is the biggest issue you're ever going to see. He's going to position himself in the most annoying angle possible. And yeah, there it is. Signed, sealed, and delivered on the half, 13-2. A condemning scoreline if I've ever seen one.
No doubt about it. VP lacking the bite to match the teeth, but we'll have to see after the break if they can bring things back. 13-2. It's not impossible, but the plow needs to get fired up real quick. We'll see you soon. Well, Lauren, to be honest, we're not really that far into the night, and still our first half has already come and gone, and Fnatic have had most of the 15 rounds. 13-2 is the scoreline, and the Poles are struggling to make a resurgence here on Train.
Yeah, there's something about the night is dark and filled with terrors. I think so far they are a Swedish side who have no mercy, is what we're seeing. I'd be surprised if this was live, considering Fnatic have an AWP, apparently. So we are just going to be waiting a couple of seconds for this one to start. Do not fear, it is going live right about now. We get to catch the pistol, we don't miss it, you know? It's fine, all is good. What we can actually look at, though, is how Fnatic go about this T side, because we know what they like to play like. We know they're very pick dependent, and they're good at it too. There's no disputing that. Even if you know what they're up to, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be able to handle it. VP know what they're coming up against as well. They're well and truly aware. These two certainly clash heads a lot, but so far Fnatic certainly have the upper hand. 13-2. Fnatic, it's all in their control.
And Fnatic are the kind of team whose respect you really have to earn in the map. With the way that you play, aggressive coming forward from JW, no surprises here. He's wasted no time in accessing that A site and already putting a bit of damage over down towards Neo, and this is just filthy. The Pistol King Dennis finds 2, finally shut down by Neo, but now it's a 2v3, and Neo takes some damage off towards his periphery. Doesn't even know where that came from, but Pasha with the USP, the long range is able to even the odds. Bombs already planted, Fnatic are already set up now, and VP are scurrying, chasing their tails, trying to find Fnatic. Neo with the kit though.
Yeah, decent enough plant positions, and there it is. Neo couldn't defuse that without being slightly seen. I think even the cross was seen from Connector as well. He had a player playing over by Olaf there for Fnatic. It wasn't actually him, but yeah, picking up the first round is big, and Fnatic have that kind of ace up their sleeve of Dennis. Provides 2 kills, always puts you on that right place, and I still think he is one of the best pistol players there is.
Now, while Virtus.pro, you saw their second round force of the first half, actually had some UMPs in there. Yep. They're on the CT side, so you don't get a plant, you get that extra little injection of cash. You're down to CZs to keep yourself in the game. Not ideal at all. And Fnatic are looking like they're going to run away with this one. But all eyes now on Fnatic. How do they play this T side? Are we going to see more weaving into that strategic play, or is JW just going to wait for Neo to walk into his crosshairs? No dodging those ones. Now the smoke being thrown to T-Com, but JW's work is essentially already done.
Yeah, you can see right now they're at least stacking out bombs, like trying to hope that they hit somewhere that they're going to have all these players towards. I don't know if that's all that likely, but Snacks is going to go walkabouts, and JW's on the other side. Ooh. And actually Snacks comes out on top of that. Nicely done. Rifle recovered. He can back away. I don't know if anyone's there to trade instantly. No, they're still above Pop, so good for him. He gets to keep that move position, try and find some way to be incredibly relevant, and it's good for the solo player on A to be able to have this at least. Maybe he can do some more damage.
And VP have brought up armor and helmet here as well, so they've actually got a little bit to work with. But and the AWP just gets ripped straight from Snax' hands as soon as I mention it. But Fnatic still haven't picked a bomb site, haven't made their move yet. And Taz is going deep for some information. Dennis is on the lower side, so the minimap might tell a bit of a deceptive tale. He doesn't check Pop. He's going a long way around, and this may work in his favor. Fnatic still no plant. Pasha holds on. The CZ from Connector finds Olafmeister, who tries to approach the site. And now Fnatic are done with the shenanigans. Plant for Crims through smoke. VP is split in 3 points now. Bialy and Pasha are going to group up towards these tunnels.
Taz is in an unexpected position for the next 5 to 10 seconds. No, Flush is already thinking about it. Doesn't matter though, Taz hits the shot, comes around well, and now you've got this 2v3 retake. No kit up on the board though, so anytime bot is perfect. That is huge. Dennis spots out Taz, gonna keep him under wraps as well. Just gonna be battling that one out with the UMP, but Bialy in the 1v2. Time is ticking, and it's ticking pretty fast, and I know he's out of time now. The rifle's going to finish it off in the hands of Crims. Costly, sure, but costly doesn't count when you're at 15-2 here. It's been an incredibly quick game, I'm not going to lie to you. Fnatic came out swinging. They had the perfect game to suit their style. They've barely been hindered in any aspect, and VP just seemed they never got off the starting blocks.
And they had no choice but to force heavily in that second round. So the third round, when ostensibly they might actually have some weapons to work with if they wanted to save, no, nothing. Still the CZs, 5-7. A little bit of utility here and still armor and helmet, so they've got at least that to work with here. But again, these UMPs still shred. And Dennis, well, he's on the highway, making his way down. It's going to be Flusher to find one, and A is pretty much corralled now by a Fnatic. They're going to start to move in and go for the killing blow. It's easy as that.
And, well, There it is. It was a bit of a lackluster game, I'm not going to lie to you, unless you're a Fnatic fan, and that was phenomenal. VP just didn't put up a fight, it felt. I hate to say it, I like to see competitive games. That did not feel competitive. That felt like Fnatic were a class above, and that's on a good map for VP. That's the interesting factor for me. That's not a map they normally shy away from. They can go blow for blow on that, but in that sort of aspect, it was Fnatic being the heavyweight, and VP just got blown away.
And what we didn't get to see was Fnatic really construct some strategies, or lack thereof, on their T side, something that we still going to have to wait for a little bit longer. But one thing you don't have to wait for is the desk. It to be Moses and co to take us through the very quick match that was.
Well, it feels like Fnatic only really played one half of the map there. Yeah, that was very quick, very surprising actually. After everything we said, VP has always been very good on this map. Is this the VP that we were just used to seeing online?
Whoa,
so.
whoa.
Ooh, hold on.
Whoa.
Chad's got a point.
Come on,
Chad's
lads.
got something.
He's got a point.
All right. The
All right, here
game,
we go.
score-wise, was a whitewash.
Yep.
But in terms of the first half, it wasn't really a whitewash. There were a lot of close rounds. It was fast Counter-Strike, and the situations didn't really go in the favor of VP. If they had turned a few of them around, it could have forced Fnatic onto eco, and it would have been more competitive. You guys can't just be throwing Virtus.pro under a bus like that.
My dad had a saying. It was if donkeys could fly, that'd be one hell of a bird. I mean, you can't just bust out if statements all day long.
No, but you can definitely look at rounds and specifically go, hey, look, that was a close round. It was more competitive than a 16-2 scoreline.
Okay.
There were some good rounds in there. Let's highlight some of the ones. Let's highlight some of the ones they picked up.
What's your point again?
They got 2 rounds. I got lots of points. I
Here
got
we
like
go.
5 points here. So the round they did pick up, round number 11, right? That was actually quite ingenious approach from them. They're like a nice little fake towards outside. 4 players running towards inner. We had Neo there finding 2 frags outside, and then Pasha cleaning up in the 2v2. That was actually quite a nice little tactic chucked in there. The problem is they couldn't control the aggression from Fnatic throughout that game. It kicked off in the first gun round there. We saw JW pushing towards Ivy. He gets 2 kills. VP actually ended up winning that round. It was a bit of a brawl. I think I saw a couple of whiffs from Olofmeister to actually give them that round.
Yeah,
but
2v4, I think it was.
yeah, exactly. Well done. You're
Oh,
paying
sorry, I didn't
attention.
mean to steal that round.
And at that point, you could see VP just couldn't string rounds together. The 2 rounds they won were like real close affairs as well, to be fair. It's not like they had clean rounds themselves, the one they won. So like, obviously there was a lot of close rounds there, but they couldn't really get going at all. Fnatic, they looked strong throughout. JW, masterclass with the AWP, saw some kind of real vintage stuff from him, looking very strong indeed. And that's the good thing about Fnatic. Like, they have got an array of AWPers there. There's no necessarily a dedicated AWPer. Like, Olaf can pick it up. Crims was even having a go of it at that point as well.
Well, Crims is not an AWPer.
I think he's
But he
memeing
was-
with the ult pickup.
Yeah.
He was having a go of it in a
He was
couple of
having a
rounds.
good time.
He swapped it over to the next half, the next round, I should say. But yeah, like VP just didn't really arrive there, I have to say. Obviously, losing both pistols as well doesn't help.
Yeah.
But 16-2, that's a rough day in the office for them.
Yeah, that's a beatdown, and maybe this is, Chad, the reason why you never got off that Fnatic hype train. Now we're starting to see some of the pieces really showed up in this match. This is why a lot of the elements that we saw there are why Fnatic is always considered such a dangerous team.
Yeah, good if you're a Fnatic fan and a Neckbeard fan as well. I really like the way they played inside. Again, like we touched on that Flusher, and we had to talk about it as the game was going live. The ball's on these guys to be willing to play retake on that inner site, which most teams don't like to do. You like to have your solo player wreaking as much havoc as possible and delaying for the rotators. They're more than happy to play that retake style. And I think something that's really interesting with that is if you dedicate who's going to when you're retaking the inside bomb site, and in that situation, you're assuming you're going to have at least 4 to 5 players alive. You want your inside player just to tell you what's open, and then everybody else kind of filters in and takes a lane. One takes high ramp, one takes the oil train, one takes the middle lane, one takes hump, one takes the hump train lane. And that way you kind of just work through methodically finding the frags, and you're able to trade very easily. So that round, I think the one that I'm highlighting was the 6th round. JW did have to win a 2v1, and you saw VP working straight onto that counter where they're going to throw that utility towards connector and push up and try and bottleneck them before being able to get into the site. Didn't pan out. JW won a nice 1v2, but the idea was there from VP.
Yeah, one of those rounds that if they had won it, it could have gone.
Yeah.
We have another thing you want to show off.
So we've created I don't think you can see it.
Yeah, I thought we'd need a marker.
We need a marker. Anyway, it's a swear
fix it
jar
up.
for Lauren.
You can hold up. I got a close-up now, Chad. Still can't see.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you can kind of see
Can't
that.
see it. It's a swear jar for Lauren.
So you've got some rules there as well?
Just to start,
It's not just
to
Lauren.
start things off, because we've heard a couple doozies out of her. We'll just
Is this for her?
initial donation? Yeah, we'll spot her the first 10. The
a lovely
first 10 euros. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what we're going to do with this money, but we just got to keep her in check.
Henry, any ideas for what we want to do with the money?
Give it to charity.
Yeah. Just
Couldn't be
charity,
more
just
exciting than
charitable human
charity.
being. Yeah.
Just
Why
trying
not?
to do my job, you know?
There he is. Well, that is map 1. Is 16-2 stomping for Fnatic. When we return, we'll have to see if they're going to be able to bounce back. That's going to be on Mirage, so stay tuned. We'll see you after the break.